Hello, friends. I am so excited that you're taking time out of your day to be here for this little webinar. And I'm trying to be fancy. I have it on Zoom on one side and you here. And I'm just pretending that I know anything because I have a light box and I don't know what to do with it. But I do know some things to share with you about how to have a trauma-less holiday season. So welcome to Zoomers. Is that a thing? And to Facebook Live. I'm trying to figure out where to look, but I had a little hilarious experience. I'm going to give you guys some time as you're hopping on. And right before this, I was brushing my teeth to feel all fresh for you. I don't know why. You can't smell my breath, but I was being all fancy and brushing my teeth. Fancy. That's not fancy. That's normal. And twice this has happened in the last 2 days. Yesterday and today, I grabbed what is the same shape as my shampoo or my toothpaste bottle thing. And it's, in fact, a shampoo bottle, like travel size. And I squirted shampoo on my toothpaste. Again, so my teeth are Pantene clean. And I laughed so hard because that didn't just happen today. It happened yesterday as well. So, what a time. Well, I am so excited. As you know, if you've been following me lately, I have been leaning in towards talking more about trauma and how to have hope after trauma. And part of that is because I've had a master's in counseling training with a specialization in trauma for years. And I've traveled the world talking about how to recover from trauma, how to find hope on I call it the holy ground of suffering, sharing with people what to do when they've experienced trauma after natural disasters. And I've been there when the earthquake has come and people are among their rubble, and I show up and I try to offer hope. And I realized I want to do that to you in your life, when you're washing the dishes, when you're on the treadmill, wherever you are, if you've experienced trauma. Now, I want to define trauma in case you are not aware of what the definition is of trauma. And sometimes we think we can't say we've been through trauma. Well, the definition of trauma is any time you've experienced something physically, emotionally, relationally, or spiritually that makes you feel unsafe. So everyone that went through 2020, if you were alive during then, you have had trauma. Anytime you've had a breakup of some sort, or a job loss, or a family rocky situation, you have experienced some sort of trauma because you can feel unsafe during those times. Maybe it's not big T, earthquake, trauma, or war, or a car accident, but just those things that you've experienced that make you feel a little unsteady, a little unsafe. And your brain and your body can take that in and go into fight, flight, freeze mode. And the holidays is a time where everything is just on high alert. The holidays come with a lot of smells. I love holiday smells. I have a holiday candle right now in my house. Smells, sorry for the essential oil people, but I have Glade plugins that smell like cedar and Christmas trees. There's smells with the holiday. There's sights with the holidays. There's music, just the things are different at the holidays, and what that can do, it can be great, but also if you've had any sort of trauma or are walking through grief, it can trigger in you your body's response to fight, flight, freeze, to raise your cortisol levels. And not only just the fact that it's an assault on the senses, but also our lives are already pretty busy and pretty stressful, and so it can be a time where it gets stressier, if that's even a word. And so I have some strategies and tips for you during this time. And I say holiday season because next week's Thanksgiving, so we're starting now because Thanksgiving can be stressful too. You may have to be with those family members that scare you or have hurt you, or you just don't want to talk about politics with. You may be trying not to burn the rolls, whatever it may be, but this is a season where everything is ramped up. And so I have a little acrostic for you, and it is Merry. We're going to put the Merry back in Christmas, the holidays. And the first thing is M, manage your expectations. I think that sometimes we put these real high expectations on the holidays. I think it's easy to do that when you watch Hallmark movies. Raise your hand in the comments, the two of you that are watching live right now. if you like holiday movies, because I love a good Hallmark movie. I'm still trying to figure out how to shake my snow globe, buy a Christmas tree farm, and spill my coffee at the airport, which I've done a few times, so that I can find that Hallmark man. But I think we have these expectations. We expect our holidays to go like they have in the past, maybe, or we want it to look like the Christmas letter that everyone else sends, or we want our families to act differently this time, or we expect just the fa la la la, the peace, the joy, and we're wondering why we feel anything but. So I think the first key is to look at your expectations for the holidays. And I have a new product releasing today that is a trauma-less holiday guide, and the first step it takes you through is journaling exercise. What are your expectations for the holidays? What are your expectations? Just acknowledging them and noting what they are can help you recognize, okay, here's maybe some expectations that maybe I need to let go of. And maybe my expectations are based on Instagram, Christmas, and everyone else. Like, if based on Instagram, I should already have a tree back there. Maybe my expectations are what I want from my family, but recognizing it's not going to happen that way. Just pausing and prayerfully looking at what are my expectations. Expectations are a belief something will happen. Now put a pin in that and think about what expectancy is. Expectancy is not a belief as much in what will happen. It is a hope, what you hope will happen. And that's a little different because we can look forward with hope. Like the reason we can have expectancy at the holidays is because we have hope in the reason for the holidays that we're celebrating, and that's Jesus. And we can hope because he came. He's Emmanuel. He left heaven, came to earth. When we look to him, we can have expectancy in the goodness of God. But there's a difference between expectancy and hoping and expectations. So I encourage you to think about what are your holiday expectations and what is some expectancy that you can have. Maybe you need to release some expectations and turn towards expectancy. So that's the M in Mary. The E is the emotions. Emotions. Listen, I don't really like to think that I have a wide range of emotions because I really like happy and fun and joyful. But I've learned over the years through helping counsel others and myself that emotions are not bad. They're not bad. But when we don't acknowledge and recognize and pay attention to our emotions can rule us. So I encourage you, as you go throughout the holiday season, to look at your emotions. And there's different levels of emotions. The first, you can Google feelings wheel and learn a lot about different, because sometimes we just need to name them or go below just happy. What's underneath happy? I mean, playful, proud, accepted, powerful, and then underneath that, the tertiary, inspired, hopeful. I started with happy because I wanted to, but there's also fearful. Maybe you're feeling scared about your bank account. Maybe you're feeling rejected by some family. Maybe underneath that, you're feeling frightened or overwhelmed or inadequate, inferior. But you just gotta name those things. To acknowledge our emotions is power. Sorry, I keep looking at both screens here. And it is a key to hope and healing. If you've experienced trauma or just in general, managing what is happening inside of you this Christmas. So just pausing throughout your day. In the product, a Trauma-less holiday guide that I have that you can get. Sound like an infomercial, but I'm really proud and really excited about it. I'll put it in the comments after this video. You could go to jenniferhand.org/shop or aftertraumahope.com/holiday. And in that guide, I have a list of emotions that you can circle and look at and note, what am I actually feeling? What is underneath frustrated? What am I feeling today? So emotions, they're not bad. We just gotta not be ruled by them. We gotta let ourselves feel the feelings. So that's the E. The M, you're managing your expectations. The E, recognizing your emotions. The R is also a recognize. Recognize that there are things that can be trauma triggers for you. The holidays are super sensory. Like I mentioned before, there's sights, there's smells. Did I mention I have a Glade plug-in? I feel like that needs to be true confession because, I think they're supposed to be really bad for you. So, but I really like them. There's a lot of sounds at Christmas. There's just a lot and of sensory-based experiences. Well, the thing about our brains and our bodies is we remember. There is a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And maybe you had some sort of trauma around the holiday time with your family, maybe a family gathering gone bad, maybe a disappointment of an expectation, maybe a hurt. Maybe this is the first holiday without your loved one. And it's so hard because the senses remember. The body keeps the score. You can smell Christmas and be taken to a place. You know, a place in your heart, a memory. It's all triggering. I was in a car accident in the fall, in the rain. And so now whenever I hear in the fall rain on leaves, sometimes it can be hard for me to want to get in the car because my body remembers. I can recognize that. And just paying attention to your body. Again, there's that whole pay attention. It's important to pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on in your body. So, because you may not even recognize that you've been triggered. But what if all of a sudden you find yourself much more irritable, much more angry, much more restless? This probably may be because something has been triggered from your past. And there's just so many incredible ways God made our bodies. I'm very passionate about Psalm 139, which says, you, my friend, are fearfully and wonderfully made. And so God made us to go into that fight, flight, or freeze. We're incredible creations. We can do amazing. You can do amazing things. And your brain and your body work in amazing ways. But you cannot stay stuck in that high cortisol level because when your cortisol, your stress hormones rise, your brain moves from the sympathetic nervous system, from the parasympathetic, which is where your body is at rest. You can kind of think more clearly into that fight, flight, or freeze in the sympathetic. And you're stuck almost there. And so begin to notice maybe what might be a trauma trigger for you. Maybe just looking at the Thanksgiving to-dos and recipes and knowing you're hosting that family member can be triggering. Maybe all of a sudden you just can't get over extreme fatigue and exhaustion. And maybe because the holidays have triggered grief from where you're missing a loved one. Maybe you were hurt deeply by a relationship. And this time of year is hard because it's all hallmarky, all coupley, all the things. So whatever it is, the importance is to notice. Notice in your body when you're like tight in your shoulders and you get the knots and your stomach hurts and you can feel it. It's amazing how you may not even be aware how your body does keep the score. I think of my nephew who was in an accident where a deer went through my sister and her husband's minivan, was propelled through the air in March in 2013, like years and years and years ago. And for years, he was 9 at the time, and he remembers the way springtime is. His body remembers that. So whenever springtime would come around, you could tell a difference in him because his body was keeping the score. So recognizing your trauma triggers, beginning to notice, oh, I'm feeling more irritable, giving yourself grace. I'm feeling it in my body. And then the next thing, this is exciting, the tips and strategies is the next are relaxation techniques. There are things that we can do to help us move forward in hope and healing and help for the holidays. And I used to be honest, I thought all this stuff was hokey. I really did because I was like, can breathing really help? And that seems cheesy, or meditation, although I've always been one to love reading scripture and thinking on it, but really meditating on it, can that really work? Can sticking my feet in the ground outside and feeling the ground, what can that do? Guys, it is amazing the strategies we can help. Now, I do encourage you, if you struggle with deep trauma or you're struggling with depression, anxiety, talk to your doctor, find a good counselor. All those things are great. These are just tools to help you continue to move forward as you process trauma. And things like make a holiday self-care plan. Like, think about what feels good to you. What is your typical routine? Because one thing that can cause anxiety, or when you're struggling with trauma triggers, is the holidays have a whole different routine to them. So maybe you need to add some things into your routine that feel safe. You need to remind yourself that you're in the present moment, because trauma makes us feel stuck in our past, that you're not safe. So if you can remind your body you're safe, one of the ways you could do that is staying grounded in the present moment by doing 5 things you can see right now. 5 things I can see, 4 things I can touch, 3 things I can smell, 2 things I can hear, 1 thing I can taste. Or you can add whatever order you want. Like for example, right now, if I needed to ground in the present moment because I was feeling anxious or stuck in a trigger of a trauma memory or just stress and I just need to refocus, I can look at my basil plant that's over there in the corner of my house that I'm real proud of the fact that I've kept alive since August. And I could go smell it, I could test it, I could taste it, I could touch it, I could taste it. I could think through like the 5 senses, and that brings me right to the present moment. So I encourage you each day in the holidays, do something that reminds you to be fully present, not stuck, because it can be easy to, when you have a trigger, to stay and go back to that painful fight, flight, or freeze mode. And there is time to go back to painful memories. This free webinar is not, we don't have enough time to talk about all this. This is just a good way, good techniques for you to stay in the present. So relaxation, self-care plan, meditation on scripture, because he is our ultimate hope. Take a walk, take a nap. Let me give you permission, take a nap. Just do something to reset your brain. Take a cold shower, take a hot shower, gargle some water. Like, these things are the way God made our bodies to heal. So if the holidays feel overwhelming, maybe you're at a gathering and you just need a break, walk outside in the cold air. Take some deep breaths. Even now, let's just take some breath. Close your eyes. Inhale for 4, 5, 6, however much hot air you have. I have a lot. And I teach yoga, so I can do it for pretty long. Inhale for 4, we'll say 4. Hold it for 4, exhale 4. You could do that with a phrase like, all my hope is in you, Jesus, or I'm Emmanuel, God with me, he's with me now, or wherever you want to meditate, but breathe, walk. It's all free. That's free stuff. So that's a relaxation technique. And then Y is making a list of your holiday yeses and nos, because when you experience trauma or grief, it feels like it takes the power away from you, or the control away, your sense of safety away. And ultimately, we are not in control. I'm so grateful that we have a God that is. And I do want to pause and say here, if you've experienced trauma, that can be hard to wrestle. And I love that we have a God that we can wrestle with and say, I don't know where you were, God. And ask him and wait on him to show you and reveal to you where he is in your story. But we can tend to feel like we've lost control sometimes. The cortisol levels are high, the stress is high, things are not looking hallmarky as we planned. And so this is why you can make a list of holiday yeses and nos. Boundaries are key if you need them to feel safe. So maybe you need to make a plan ahead for an event, what you're going to do before, during, and after event to ground, to stay present, to take care of yourself, to heal, to just be able to enjoy the event or survive the event if it's with people that are hard for you. Making a plan, and then making an exit plan if you need to. That's an important way, or making a list of no's. These are the things that stress me out about the holidays, and I'm going to make this my holiday no, and here's my holiday yeses. Make that list. And again, in the product that launches today, y'all are the first to hear about it if you're watching live or the replay. But the product is a traumaless holiday guide, and it comes with like this beautiful journal with questions to help you have the best holiday season. And you can fill it out even online or print it out if you're old school like me. And it's beautiful. I didn't design it, I wrote it, but someone much fancier than me designed it. You can look on there and make a list of holiday yeses and nos. What makes you come alive this Christmas? write that down. Maybe it's time to start a new tradition because our brains have an ability to have neuroplasticity, which means that if you've had these pathways in your brain of pain and negativity and hurt and trauma, that our bodies and our brains can make new pathways. And it doesn't undercut or undervalue what happened before. I want to tell you, I acknowledge and want to carry hope for you in your healing, that trauma is hard. Whatever kind of way you felt unsafe spiritually, physically, emotionally, relationally, it is hard because we live in a fallen world where sin hurts, and because we are around other sinners, they can hurt. And I just have such compassion for you, but also want to hold hope with you that the holidays can bring small baby steps, one step at a time of healing. And maybe one of those things is starting a new tradition that will make you come alive in a new way. So making that list, what is my holiday yeses? What are my holiday no's? So I know that's a lot of information, but if you're tuning in now, I'll go back and watch the replay, but I'll give you the MERRY. Love a good acrostic. Manage your expectations. Emotions aren't bad. I have to tell myself that too, because I like all the happy, Recognize when maybe you're experiencing a trauma trigger. Just last weekend, I encountered someone that reminded me of a painful situation from my past, and I was so glad I was teaching this class because I recognized immediately my stomach hurt. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. It took the breath out of me. And I had to practice these techniques to move forward because I had to go speak on a stage. And I was so glad that I knew that I could practice some of these things to lower my cortisol and remind me you're not in that situation again. You don't have to fight, flight, or freeze here. So after recognizing your trauma is to relax, take some relaxation techniques, take a walk, take a nap, take a cold shower, do something that gets you in the present moment, grounding, look at your 5 senses, and then make a yes and no list for the holidays. What are your boundaries? What is your Christmas yes? What is your Christmas no? And I, of course, want to end with reminding you, Emmanuel, God is with us. That's what ultimately we are celebrating at the holidays, but it's so easy to get sucked into trying to make our holiday look like the traditions we loved, and it'd be hard when everything's changed. Maybe you've lost someone. Trying to not be triggered by the office Christmas party or the family gathering. Trying not to get sucked into the comparative Christmas Instagram culture. I believe that when we recognize Emmanuel, God is with us. He is with you. He is with you. He sees you. He knows you. He loves you and you and you. He loves you. He is with you. That's why he came. And this holiday season, he can bring healing in new ways to you into your life, and I will hold hope for you. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to share the video and to invite you to purchase your copy of a Traumaless Christmas Guide. And it involves a beautiful PDF to help you process these steps, 4 video teachings from me, and bonus 4 yoga videos where they will be delivered every first Monday in December. I'm a certified yoga teacher, and I will lead you through all levels, just encouraging yoga flow with some prayer and scripture in a way to move your body. And then also you will receive a 25-day Advent devotional download called My Christmas Yes. So if you are interested in that, I'm going to put it down here. I don't know how. Let's see if I can type. Oh, it won't let me type. So I'll put it later, but just go to jenniferhand.org/shop, or you can go to aftertraumahope.com/holiday. And also I have a bundle. If you haven't already picked up my After Trauma Hope course, I have a bundle available on sale through Cyber Monday. So instead of, I can't remember the price. I should. If I was a good saleswoman, I would. But just go to jenniferhand.org/shop, and you can find out about either having a traumaless Christmas or bundling it all together, and then you don't just have a traumaless holiday season, you're going into the new year walking in hope. So thank you guys. Feel free to share this. I'll put in the link, but be sure to check out jenniferhand.org/shop. I am really passionate about this resource because I believe it can help us all navigate a hope-filled, traumaless Christmas season.